the preparation for the migration point of view, we need to do all these things. Okay. So we need to go for preparation of migration of customizing general ledger. So same thing we can see here, preparation and migration for the customization, and we will see the step by step what exactly we are doing here. Okay. So in this step, basically what we will do is we will see check customizing settings for the pre for the migration. We need to check this program, this report, basically rasp_migration pre-check. This is same for program for all the versions. Okay, and after that, now after installation, now we should execute it for recheck. So let's do that. Okay, this is a program where we can check everything is looking perfect or not. Okay, so this this particular report we have in our implementation, basically we have executed before an installation of S4 HANA on-premise version 15.03 or 17.01, whatever it is same. Now after installation we should execute it for recheck. That means everything will be looks perfect, then we can able to see the information in the screen. Let's analyze something there. Okay, I think it will be, there are a couple of other things also will come, but now it should be in the green. So the preparation, then we can able to proceed further. Then define the message types for the postings. So here the message types, basically we will define, we need to define the message types for the postings before and during the migration. So in this customization, this activity, basically we need to define the users are informed by the message when they wanted to post in the system, although the migration has not been set to finished. Enter the work area has been FI in the selection continue. So then these message types will basically we are using because of, so for all these application areas, whenever the system, the migration point of view is ready, so then this with this message types, so by using this message types, it will be triggered to the user to proceed further kind of. Okay, and you can see those. Okay, for enter work in, let's see those things as well.
So all these instructions are step by step in your document?
Yeah, it is there in my document. I will share you this document also with you, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, these message types basically we are creating, and but some of the things we cannot execute in the system because already it is some of the steps we already performed and some of the steps we cannot perform also. And then so data migration not finished and update. That's what, whether it is error or it is for the batch imports and all those stuff we are updating here. Okay, these things we will just a minute. Hello. Yeah, Randra. Okay. Preeti, your server issue is resolved, so just check and you confirm, no? So basically, that's what Rajendra is confirmed me.
Okay, I can check in after login later.
Okay. So with this particular program, what we will do is we will once we executed this program, so then we can see the new path of S4 HANA, whatever the new path is coming, so that we can populate by executing this particular program. couple of things which you will not understand now, so I will not touch upon those points, but whatever we can understand, that we will see today, and rest again we will see in on some other day. So this is the only migration. I mean, this is the new path. So from, for example, on your classic system, some path will be there. For example, your real-time integration, that will be moved out, and something is coming on your currency type settings and all those stuff is coming, right? So the new path will be populated when you executed this program. If you not execute this program, then it will be not populated. Okay. And this is a program which we are using for it. And check it out for the fiscal year variant. So this we are using for, we are checking whether the fiscal year point of view, the inconsistencies are there or not. So when we see it, for example, if I can say my controlling area is, all my data is gone. Okay, this is displaying. Okay, so OB05, no changes for, I mean, that means if there are any inconsistencies, because inconsistencies between in the fiscal year variant from your FI to CO, then it will pop up. So then we need to rectify all those things. So we need to prepare in such a way system that it should not be, we should not see any inconsistencies for the fiscal year variant for in between your CO and FI. Okay, now I don't have any inconsistencies, that's why it is not showing anything. If I say it for other company code, no changes required for the fiscal year variant, and everything looks perfect for this as well. Let's see for all the company codes, and then it will show you some errors as well. I can take it up to here. If there are inconsistencies, then only it will show, but I don't think there is inconsistency, and everything is looking perfect, so that's the reason it's not showing anything. If there are any inconsistencies, then we need to check upon, and then we need to change accordingly. And define currency settings for the migration. So this is a completely new thing, so this we need to also set up. And here, so the migration of the unified journal entry requires a unique fiscal year variant in controlling and financials. In case if you use a particular finance, I mean fiscal year variant in finance, and if it is different from controlling module, then we need to again I mean rectify all those things. I mean we need to take care of all those things. That should be sync up with your finance and controlling module. So in this activity, basically you need to compare the fiscal year variant between the controlling area and their, I mean whether it is assigned, I mean those company codes which are assigned to the controlling area must and should be sync up with your I mean your controlling module. So for example, I am assigning three company codes to my controlling area. So one company code fiscal year variant is differed from other two company codes, then I cannot assign that company code which is differing from my controlling area. So that I need to take in care. So if there any inconsistencies, you cannot do the migration. So those things we are checking here, whether everything is looking perfect or not. In case if it is not perfect, then you cannot do the migration. We need to take in care before we go to the migration. That's what we are doing, all the we are all doing all the pre-checks here. Okay, got it? Any doubts here? And also the migration of general ledger customization. So this activity, okay, the following migration: company code, currency settings, and fiscal year variant, open component settings of all these things we need to check here. And let's see that as well. So and here for the exchange rate type, whether which one we are taking care. For example, if we wanted to go with moving average price or whatever, that we need to define here. Okay, and this is for the fiscal year for CO. I mean this is for previously CO specific currencies and for previously CO specific transactional currencies also. What we need to take into consideration, either it is according to FI currency customization or according to CO approach. So those both the things are possible here. So if we say it is I mean use document currency in all valuations, and this is for previous CO, this is for transactions, this is for specific currencies. So this is for currencies, this is for transactions. So there's two options you have: use the document currency for all the valuations, or calculate the transaction currency for each parallel valuations. So generally we will take according to FI currency customization we will take, and this is for use document currency for all the valuations we will take. Okay. So then migration for the general ledger. Okay, this we'll see. The currencies types, which the way which we created, in the same way we need to create. And before that, all these errors, whatever the real time, if you, I mean, these are all we made it yellow. I mean, that means only warning message kind of things. But in the real time, basically, it is not warning. This will become as red only. That means it will stop you for the migration unless you rectify all these things. You cannot go for the migration activities. So I will show you a couple of examples here. For example, my here the currency types 11 defined for the company code dependent, but you have entered in the global currency conversion settings. This is not allowed. So all these currency settings we need to define in the proper way for any of the company code. If there is a problem, either it is currency, or you can see currency conversion settings for T030 and it is not defined properly. So we should define in such a way that whatever we discussed in during our session, so in the same way we need to define and we need to set up the system, then only it can able to proceed us to for the migration. So for example, this you can see, and also there is a splitting point of view, also some of the errors we can see, because we have so all these errors we need to rectify before we go for the migration. We need to do the setup in the proper way, then we need to check this pre setup, everything is looking fine or not. So in everything looks fine, then you will not see any other warning or error messages, then you can able to proceed further. The ledger setting for the 0L company code ST1 60 has been added, but the currency conversion settings are not yet defined for the company code ST1. That's what we have not defined. This is, I mean, inconsistencies. So you can see for this company code. That's why it is giving the error message. So these are all the things we need to rectify before we go to the migration from currencies point of view. Okay. And above, basically these are all, see, define settings for general currency types. This is already discussed. But ledger for CO versions, we need to set up all the things for the CO versions, which we already discussed on this point. So in the same way, we need to do the setup for CO versions as well. Okay. Here, so assignment of ledgers to the company code and accounting principles, this we need to take in care here. So we need to assign according to our requirement, business requirement. We need to do the setup here for all the accounting principles and ledgers mapping and all those stuff. And also we need to define our ledgers for CO version and CO version, how we need to set up and all these things we have discussed in the initial session. Those are all the maximum possible ways which we need to define and finalize the things for especially for the CO version and all. And define the document type for posting for controlling. So these are also the CO document type which we need to be prepared. This is also new configuration which we need to be set up. So then only we can able to proceed further on the migration part. And define document type for mapping CO business transactions. This is also we already seen. So this is a variant which we need to create it, and we need to map all the business transactions for the document type. And in case if it is a cross company code, then it is CC. Generally in the real time we are using the CC, but by default it is showing as CO. Okay. And check and define default values for the posting controlling. So that's what. So I think we have seen this as well, right? And in the initial class as a first class. Basically at that point of time we have tracked some of the information there in the table where we are not giving uh, the dates. I mean the dates point, the validity date point of view for the cost element. We have not given anything there, but it is picking the dates, the validity dates. It is tracking in the table as this. So 10, 1900. So this is coming with this particular step. So the cost element validity period, even we are not giving anywhere, but it is validating in, I mean, it is tracking in the tables in the backend because of we are executing this step. We are validating in a single step. This other point of time I said we will discuss during the migration point of time. So in the migration, in the single step, we will do this for the document type for the mapping variant for the company code. Then it will be, I mean, when you see from the front end, so it will be validated, and this also will be tracked under the tables. And define offsetting accounting for definition of offsetting account determination for always display offsetting account with the highest amount or lowest amount, whatever. So generally we will take always highest amount. Okay, do not display the offsetting account or display the offsetting account for clearly specified, or always display the offsetting account with highest amount. So these are the four options we will have for the offsetting account determination. So always we will take this in the real time. Okay, and define source ledgers for migration of balances. So during the when you are migrating the balances, which ledger, which source ledger for the migration which you need to do, give which source ledger you need to consider for that. So for that we will do the setup here. So which is the source ledger and for which company code and which fiscal year, and all the what is the ledger and what is the source ledger and what is the company code and what is the fiscal year, which fiscal year you are doing. So all these things we need to take in care here. Okay, and check and define settings for the subsequent cost of sales accounting. So this also we will see later now. So this we will see later. Basically this is costing relevant one which we are not covered. So and check of the define settings for the controlling area. So this we need to check for the controlling area settings, so everything is looking perfect or not. So this is also mandatory kind of things which we need to define the controlling area. We need to assign company codes to controlling area, and all those parameters which we are maintaining in the classic, that's also need to take in care. So your fiscal year variant and posting period variant and also chart of accounts should be same between your company codes, whatever you are going to be assigned for your controlling area. Those rules will be matched. Then only you can able to migrate. Otherwise, you will see a lot of errors in the migration part, during the migration. And finally, we need to execute the consistency for check for the general ledger accounting. So in the same way, see, there are inconsistencies. So this we need to rectify before we go to the migration. So there are a lot of inconsistencies we can see here. So all these we need to rectify. For example, we can see the problems from the currencies, and so currency conversation settings for us is missing for company code. That means there is no conversation settings we have defined for 00007. Because we are not working on all the other company codes. We are only working on our company codes which were created. So for them we did not see any errors. Basically for other company codes which are not there, the setup in the system, for that we can see all these errors. So in the real time also, basically for all the things which we need to set up and all the things we need to I mean rectify before all these things, especially in the currency setup, you will face a lot of things, and also other things also you will face a lot of errors. All these things we need to set up. So there are so many company codes are not set up properly. So for our company codes also something we are missing. So in these ledger settings, the ledger OL company code RB0 for currency 30 has been added, but the currency conversion settings are not yet defined for the company code RB05. Okay, and define the currency set 30 currency RB05 migration. Okay, I think we have refreshed the data, so all things are gone. That's why it is giving this message. but generally we have done that properly, but now the system is completely refreshed. So now there is no data at all, so that's the reason it is giving that message. So we need to I will show you a couple of other possible error messages where we'll get. One thing is currency setup, and also the inconsistencies between the fiscal year variant, which I did discussed in the previous step. So those things also we need to take in care here. And also ledger group 0L may not be contain ledger 0L. That means the ledger groups creation also will be make sense here. That which mean when you set up the ledger group, it should be you should I mean follow a couple of things. For example, I shown in the initializations, basically when you should not extend. I mean you should not add the extending ledgers for the standard ledger groups and all those stuff. And also you should have the representative ledger and all other ledgers. So we need to set up according to our business requirement, so then we can able to proceed further on the ledgers things. Also the possible errors is basically inconsistency between the fiscal year variant between your finance and controlling module, and also document splitting. So document splitting point of view, in case you already you are going for the implementation of new GL, and especially for new GL and document splitting point of view, then you can see these kind of errors also. So document splitting is active for company code RB07. Active profit center is, I mean, active profit center. That means we have activated the document splitting, but we have not activated the profit center. That means we have not done the setup in the proper way. So this is the prerequisites for the document splitting. So that's the reason it is giving the message, because we did not touch this area as of now. So so all these possible issues we need to rectify before we go for the migration. And you can see a couple of other things also. Posting period variant is empty. So some of, if you not define the posting period variant, and then you can see this kind of errors. And the versions point of view also, you can see this is some of the errors. Version 0 for CO area 1010 is not assigned to the any ledger. That means which we need to assign this 0 version to the ledger which you are using for your company code. Then you cannot see these errors. So the setup which we have done for our company code in during our classes, so that setup need to be taken care. That's it. Then you will not see any kind of errors for the CO version. Okay, and other possible things also we can see, and versions point of view we can see. And so default ledgers proof ledger rules we need to create in the same way which we discussed. So then you can avoid all these errors. You have not indicated parallel accounting GL. So in the currency setup we have a parallel accounting for the GL, that checkbox. That means if you are assigning multiple accounting principles for the ledger, so then you need to tick that button. If you are not ticking that button, then also it is a problem here. Okay, or so these are all the possible things which we, I mean, even the right way already shown during our classes that need to be set up. The general ledger accounting setup with currencies or ledgers or fiscal year variant and controlling settings and CO version, we need to set up in such a way whatever we discussed in the classes. So then you will not see all these possible errors here. But if you not do the proper setup there, so then it will throw you all these errors, and finally unless you rectify these things, you cannot do migration. Even single error you can see here, so you cannot perform the migration there. Got it? So in the same way, this is we are doing for the general ledger accounting, and if then we can do the same thing for the migration for asset accounting. So asset accounting migration, the prerequisites for the migration which we need to take in care is basically all the prerequisites which we discussed in the last session. So your joint venture accounting and public sector accounting, funds management, there should not be any open request, and all those stuff should be taken care. Okay, and addition to that, okay, and we need to migrate the chart of depreciation here. So for example, I am giving my chart of depreciation. So these are all, I mean, today the system is refreshed, so there is no data at all in the system. So that's the reason nothing is working here. It's all gone. Okay, so nothing is, but generally it will check. It will, once you migrate it, then the migrate of chart optimization is execute, then it will show you. So basically whether it is you've done it properly or not, and all those things. It will display the migration log also. I think nothing is working because of there is no data in the system now. So completely whatever we created all gone, because yesterday they refreshed and there is no data at all for any company code now. Okay. So finally we need to check these things, and migration point of view, these things basically is not working because of there is no data in the system. So once we set up again, we can perform these things in the system. We will show you once again. Prepare for the new asset accounting, that the same prerequisites which we need to set up. So those things it will we need to take in care. Okay, same thing it will say here. Okay, we need to create asset accounting, install S4 HANA asset accounting, and all these things. There are a couple of things here when you go to the classic or something else. But generally, the major important things which I described in my session, so those should be taken care. All other things when you go to the classic to new AA or new AA classic to directly, I mean new AA to S4 HANA or not, so that you need to take in care as a separate project. All those things need to be taken care separately. So that's why those things also I covered in that in the AA session. So that prerequisite setup, and also what are the other things which we have seen there. So prerequisites we have seen, and also we have seen when you go, I mean you are already there on the classic or you are not there on the classic, and directly you are going for new AA. And if you wanted to go for new AA, what are the setup is required? If you wanted to go for I mean without a new AA, for example, without a parallel ledger concept, if you wanted to go for, I mean, for example, I am on 4.7. Now I don't want to use fancy features of document splitting or whatever the usual concepts, but I wanted to go for S4 HANA. So the technical migration which we need to do the setup. So the technical migration only will adjust the tables at the backend, but you cannot get those functionalities which are getting on the usual functionalities, especially usual whatever the document splitting and all those stuff you will not get. So but only the technical migration is only do the adjustments in the backend. Okay, those things we are discussing here basically. And migrate chart of depreciation, and this we need to migrate the chart of depreciation. Once, I mean, if it is that data is there, it will shows if there is any errors or something, then it will shows. But the way which we need to create the chart of depreciation areas is looks same as we discussed in asset accounting. I think we have not covered the configuration there, but the same way we need to do the setup here. That's why if we covered there, then it will be easier to move on here. Okay, and perform additional manual activities, and finally we again here also we need to this one we need to check before the import activation of uh, the parallel valuation. So here again we need to have the checks, everything is looking perfect or not. Okay. For example, switch to new asset accounting cannot be activated. That means we have not uh, activated the new AA here. That's what I'm saying. Yesterday basically what happened is somebody is I mean completely corrupted the system. So everything is gone, whatever the steps we have executed. That's why we are facing all these problems now. So we need to migrate. That's what. First we need to go for the new AA, then we can able to proceed on S4 HANA migration. So if new AA is a mandate, I mean for the classic system, new AA is mandatory for S4 HANA. In case you are not there on new AA, so you must and should go for new AA first. Then you can able to proceed on S4 HANA. That new AA, if you are already not there on new AA, you need to take it as a separate project. That we need to create a separate project. We need to migrate first to the new AA, then we can again we can proceed with S4 HANA migration further. Okay, that is a separate project we will create and we will do it. Okay, if you are already in new AA, there is no problem. You will not see any problems here. switching in US recording cannot be activated. That means there is a issues. Okay, and these checks we will do. Is there any issues? Then it will show you here which we need to be rectified on all. And activate asset accounting new. So this we need to, I mean, this is a mandatory step. We need to activate new AA. In case you are on classic, you are on not new AS, new asset accounting, you are on classic asset accounting. This is we need to take as a separate project. We need to implement that. Then we need to activate the new AA. Then only we can able to proceed on S4 HANA things. Otherwise, you cannot proceed. Okay. And adjustment for new AA. Adjustment parameters for the chart of depreciation. Yeah, is there any, I mean, adjustments point of view? Basically, for example, you are on the classic, you have not implemented a couple of things. For example, you don't have the dimension of your accounting principles and all those stuff. Okay, so those are all the things again we need to set up according to our, to sync up with S4 HANA things. So we need to set up those things from the GL, and also those setup we need to do again here in the on AA side also. For example, additional accounting principles you want, and additional chart of depreciations or additional accounting principles, whatever you want, that we need to do again here if it is differ from your classic. Okay, anyway, this also there are a couple of rules and regulations which we need to be followed. Basically the currency setup which you are doing in the general ledger, and that need to be sync up here. For example, I maintain two currencies for my ledger for my accounting principle there. I have two accounting principles or one accounting principle, whatever. The same accounting principle, for example, you have two currencies maintained. Again, two times you need to maintain here your chart of depreciation. Then only you can able to proceed further. Is there any inconsistencies between your currency setup for your AA and GL? Also, you cannot proceed further. Those things we will discuss in detail during our AA session, AA configuration anyway, which we are missed today. Tomorrow we will discuss on that part. So those inconsistencies or those adjustments we need to do here, because those are all new on S4 HANA. So your accounting principles and all those dimensions are new. So according to that, again we need to do the adjustments and we need to do the setup in the system. Okay, that is what we are doing here. Okay, nothing is there data, so nothing will work, I don't think. Does not exist. Even our things also gone yesterday. If I say RB03, it's also not there. So these are all entire data is completely gone yesterday. I think somebody's done the mistake, so entire system is corrupted yesterday. So now so we do in this way. So once we done the complete things from the AA, then it will be a bit easy to discuss on all these points. And I'm not touching on the controlling because it is now if I touch this point, definitely it is completely gap for you, so you cannot understand anything here. So for the material ledger also what we are doing here. So during after completing my top and the main subledger topics, then we will come to here and we will see the migration point of view also. I'm not touching these 2 points which we have not covered. Even this also we have not covered completely, so it's not comfortable for us to move on. But these things which we have already covered, I think you understand something there. And in the same way, for preparation for the migration for the house banks, same thing we need to take in here. I think we have seen this setup also, define number ranges for bank account technical IDs and define number ranges for change request. And that, I mean,